They say a cosplay is never done until it has been blessed with blood, so... and it is finished. Hi, hello, buongiorno. Annabelle here from Annabelle and Antics, and today we are learning a brand new skill. A new skill that the world calls crochet. Okay, yes, it probably doesn't have to be that dramatic, but I get excited about learning something new as I've only crocheted a little bit before, and I have to admit I'm rather nervous. But what are we going to be making, you ask? Well, shoes, of course! More specifically, shoes for my ARIEL cosplay. Now, before I started, I did ask for some help on my Discord, links in the description below if you want to join, by the way. And I also whipped up this little piece as a trial run using yarn and a hook I already have. Satisfied with this okay attempt, we then began the real thing. As you guys might be able to see by the pile of projects behind me, I have a lot to get through. I've actually got a week off work, yay, so I can actually work on some projects, but first things first, because I need them for not one, but 2 cosplays, I want to make some shoes. So this is a kit that I have gotten off of AliExpress. It comes with a base which I thought was my size when I ordered it. I based it off the measurements they gave, but now that it's arrived, good thing I'm flexible, I'm not 100% sure. It seems that my feet might be a bit small. I don't have time to wait for another one to arrive, so we're going to use it anyway. Now the one thing this kit didn't come with, which would have been really damn handy, is a pattern, typical. However, it has got a crochet hook, a needle, several markers, and a whole bunch of thread. You know what? That's actually really nice. Some winding. So I've got 2 shoes, 3 lots of thread. That should be fine. I'm going to try and use up one on one shoe, one on the other, and then if I need extra, I will split the last bit in half. Do I have a plan for this? Not particularly. To be honest, I haven't crocheted in a very long time, but I figure now is a good time to learn, and I remember how to do a basic stitch at least. So fingers crossed that this ends up okay. I am tempted just to quickly rewind the thread to prevent any tangles, because it does look like it's a little bit of a mess. You know what, let's do that first. I'm not crocheting with this, it's just asking for trouble. As I didn't really have anything to wind the string onto, the original plan was to use one of my side swords as a spool while they were not in use. It took a while to get everything untangled. God help me when I have to do the other 2 rolls, because halfway through I realised my side sword plan was not working, and so we started again. This time winding it onto a folded up piece of cereal box cardboard as I detangled it. Scarewalk, I need you to move. So that took a while, but we have not just 1, but 2 rolls. I'm not doing the 3rd one right now. It is already dark and I want to get at least some way through this today. I have checked, these do come in a smaller size, so the plan is that I'm not going to use these for 2 cosplays. I'm going to do them for the cosplay competition I have literally in a week, and then I'm probably never going to wear them again, but it's going to be good practice, so let's start. The reason I did 2 was because I, like I said, don't really crochet, so I think the easiest way to get both of these to match as much as possible is going to be to do a row, do a row, do a row, do a row, and hopefully that way I'm not going to end up with 2 completely different looking shoes. But for now, let's tie these on and we will see how we go with this. I am very nervous. Hopefully this will be fine. The crochet hook as well, I quite like. It has 2 sides of 2 different sizes, and to be fair, having the shoes as like ready to crochet is a very good idea if they were easy to get through. There we go. Wish me luck. I think I'm going to need it. Side note, I have an assistant to help me, so clearly this will all turn out fine under his expert supervision, of course. Isn't that right, Shirley? I started by tying the string onto the center front of both toes before realizing that half the holes hadn't even been punched through. So I did that, definitely not stabbing myself with scissors in the process. Then I worked my way around the entire outside of the sole, and honestly, it looked really good. So good that I did another 2 layers around before moving on. Once both shoes had the same thing done, I began to build up the covering of my toes. As I said before, these shoes I believe are 2 sizes too big, so I'm going to try countering this by making the toe area nice and tight enough that my feet can't slip forward. Hopefully, anyway. Will it work? Who knows, but I suppose it is worth a try. You know what? Is you saying it's bedtime, mister? Kitten is about ready to go to sleep, and these are looking fantastic. And so we've done 3 layers of stitching. I'm probably crocheting is not stitching, but we've done 3 layers of stitching along the outside, and we've started the toe. I have left both shoes in exactly the same place, and honestly, I think this is going to work. So essentially what I'm doing is just adding an extra stitch every time I go around, and that is making this curved. I believe it should fit my feet.
see. If not, I'll have to add a few extra stitches, but so far so good. I'm fairly happy with it, and fingers crossed I can get this done more or less tomorrow. Until then guys, I hope you have a very good night, and I'm gonna go and hit the hay.
The next day I was up at 6 AM because the fire alarm next door went off.
There's still better
And didn't turn off for nearly 4 hours. Over the next few days while I was working on the computer, I kept the shoes next to me and did row after row after row after row during my breaks from editing and pattern making until my toes were officially covered.
So me and Ben just got back from D&D where I have been working on my shoes, and the toe is pretty much done. It went a little bit loose around the top, so I've basically just done a stitch, skipped one, done one, skipped one, and pulled that in a bit tighter. Now it fits on my feet really well, so I'm loving it. It maybe is a bit of an odd shape, but look, these aren't perfect. They're also 2 sizes too big. So we need it to be tight to stay on my foot, which is one of the reasons I've done it tight enough that the toe is curved up, because in theory now if we put it on my foot, ta-da, it's not even done yet and it's already acting like a sandal. So I am like pretty happy with it, to be honest. So my plan now is to start going around the back, gradually building it up. I have really high arches, so I do want this to come up quite far, also because I have a bit of a habit where these kind of shoes that just slip on and off like to fall off of my feet, which is not ideal. I'm in the mood to create, so even though it's like very, very late, gone 10, I'm probably going to do this for a little while and we will see how we go.
So I started making my way up the hill, and honestly I learned several lessons here that I will definitely be implementing onto my next set of shoes, including that to accommodate my nice high arches, I need at least twice as many rows on the inside of my feet. However, this did go well and actually felt like it all came together really quick, so that before I knew it, they were actually wearable. I of course had to try them on, and to my minor surprise, they seemed to not just fit, but actually be comfy, even if the sole did stick out of the back of my foot just a little way. Surprised and honestly just downright shocked at how easy that all was, I made the decision that some extra decoration was needed, namely some nice gold seashells on the toes. I began by ironing some scraps of my skirt fabric before tracing some ARIEL seashells onto dissolvable interfacing and attaching it to the top of the fabric, which was then placed into an embroidery hoop. The interfacing had also been a scrap by all the way, so it was sewn on around the edges of the design to help stop it from shifting. Now I'll go through how to thread paint, or as Australians apparently call it, free motion embroider, in more detail another day when I feel I'm more well practiced enough so that I can give you guys some proper instruction. However, for now, if you want to give this a try, you're going to need a special free motion quilting foot and the ability to cover or disengage the feed dogs on your machine so that you can freely move the fabric around. To begin with, I went around the outline of this shell shape in what was essentially a straight stitch using a gold metallic thread which I had gotten in a random op shop while I had made a bobbin in a blue that matched the skirt fabric. I then went back over the shape doing small circles to make the lines thicker and give it a bit more texture. The second one was then started using the same method to match the first. Got to keep my shoes an even pair after all, and I have no idea what happened to my tension on the second one, but while the first was nice and neat and clean on the back, yep, I'm sure you can see the difference there. Still, it was secure and usable.
So Annabelle, what are we doing?
We are trying the new dissolvable fabric for my ARIEL shoes.
It's just way nicer than the other stuff.
I'm hoping it works just as well, so let's... Ah, it's disappearing. Just have it run off to one side. Wow, that actually worked really nicely.
In order to hide this dodgy back, I grabbed a scrap of steam and stick, yes we are using scraps for all of this as I may as well try and use all this stuff up, and folded my fabric in half, giving the back a nice velvet look as well. However, though steam and stick is great, it shouldn't have to be doing the job alone, and so I went around the outside of the shells with a small running stitch just hidden in the existing embroidery to keep the two pieces together. With that secure, it was time to trim off the excess fabric right around the edge of the embroidery, and boy oh boy was this fiddly as all hell, but damn did they look good when they were done. Then I needed to secure the shells onto the shoes. Putting my largest pins through them to keep them in place, I then hand stitched them through the crochet, which yes, did involve me needing to use pliers, as boy oh boy was it hard to get the needle through my embroidery, but that's where the thread had to go in order to hide it.
Well guys, I am just finishing off the shoes, and as I did so I cut myself on the needle. They say a cosplay is never done until it has been blessed with blood, so... and it is finished.
love my seashell shoes. The only adjustment I had to make to them between wearing them to the convention and doing the photo shoot was adding some dark blue ribbon just across the top to help hold my feet in, because as mentioned, these kind of shoes, no matter how well they fit, just do not want to stay on my feet. But honestly, I don't think this is a bad addition at all, and I am so pleased with how they came out. And though I'll let you all know in the next video how the cosplay competition went, let's just say that the judges were very impressed by the fact that I had made these from scratch. So, new skill acquired, and I reckon we can call this experiment a rousing success. If you haven't already checked out my other Ariel videos like making of the dress or flounder, then please do, and make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss the last video in this little series. While you're here, if you could also offer up a like to the algorithm gods to show that you enjoyed this video, I would be eternally grateful. Oh, and I almost forgot, I'm currently looking for suggestions of other skills I should learn for my next cosplay projects. It's going to be a big one, guys, so if you have any you want me to try, please leave them in the comments down below, and have a beautiful day. Side note, the graded pattern for my Ariel outfit is going to be going up on Patreon soon, so make sure you go and check that out. As usual, I have to say an extra big thank you to my wonderful patrons who make these videos possible: Canuck Nancy 42, Chandrila Webster, Anna, Gaddy Meadows, and Kelly Nelson. I hope you guys enjoyed early access to this video, and thank you again, as I could not do this without your support. And if anyone else wants to check out the Patrons to get exclusive updates on my latest crafting projects, you can find the link in the description below.